As a girl who grew up playing the PS2, some of my favorite games were Jak and Daxter, Spyro, Ratchet and Clank, and of course, Sly Cooper. Those were like my core childhood when it came to gaming. A couple others as well, but that's for another video. And what's interesting is, as time went on, we've seen a lot of those franchises come back in some way or another. Remasters, remakes, reboots, they've all kind of had their moment again. But Sly Cooper, it's been quiet. Like, really quiet.
It all began when I was just a kid, bouncing on my father's knee. You see, I come from a long line of master thieves who kept all their secrets of sneaking and stealing in an ancient book. The Thievius Raccoonus. Anyone who read it learned to be especially sneaky, which is why we specialize in stealing from criminals. After all, there's no honor, no challenge, no fun stealing from ordinary people. You rip off a master criminal, and you know you're a master thief.
And part of me is like, okay, maybe that's a good thing, because I don't want them to mess it up, you know? You see what happens sometimes when games come back after a long time. It just doesn't hit the same. But at the same time, I just can't help but to like miss it. Now technically, the series did get a fourth game in 2013, Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time, and from what I remember, and from what reviews said, it actually did pretty well. It wasn't like a complete flop or anything, but even with that, it just kind of disappeared after that. No new announcements, no real continuation, just silence. And it's crazy because when you actually look back at the Sly Cooper series, it had such a strong identity. The first game came out on the PlayStation 2, and it introduced the whole world centered around Sly, who's basically a master thief. But he's also a raccoon, which is already kind of funny when you think about it. Like, the game has this sneaky, stealthy, almost serious tone at times, but then you like remember you're literally playing as a cartoon raccoon stealing from other criminals. And that balance is just what made the game so special.
The road trip gave me the time I needed to study up on Sir Raleigh the Frog. As a young man, this hot-tempered frog grew bored of his life of luxury and privilege. On a whim, he tried his hand at a bit of piracy and found it to his liking. Raleigh, who quickly became addicted to crime, was brought into the Fiendish Five as chief machinist, where his evil tinkering genius rose to new heights.
The structure of the games is also just very unique. Each one was set up almost like episodes or chapters where you'd go to a new location, take on a new crew of villains, and pull off this big heist. Almost like you're playing through a TV series or a comic book. And it just feels like something we don't see as much anymore. A lot of games today aim for realism, huge open worlds, super detailed graphics, and that's cool, but Sly Cooper proves that you don't need all of that to make a game memorable. Its stylized visuals honestly age better than a lot of realistic games from that same era. Realistic. And then like you have the game itself. At its core, Sly Cooper was a stealth platformer, but it didn't feel stressful. It wasn't punishing the way stealth games can be sometimes. It was smooth, it was accessible, and it was just fun. That blend of stealth and platforming wasn't super common back then, especially in the way that felt this polished and approachable. And the whole heist-based episodic structure, that's honestly a structure that would fit perfectly in today's modern gaming. But even with all that, what really made this game stand out to me was the characters. Sly himself was just cool, and he had a confident personality. Bentley was the brains of the operation, but my favorite was easily Murray, to this day. I don't really know what it is, but Murray always stood out to me. He's kind of like in my top 10 favorite video game characters of all time.
Think of it this way, Bentley. If it were you in that vault and Sly and I were out here, what would he do?
Stop these thugs and protect his friend.
Right, and that's what I'm gonna do.
And for some reason, he kind of always reminded me of like Barney or something. I mean, it's a big purple something, right? But everything he did was always funny to me. The way he bounced on his stomach, the way he talked, the way he tried to be tough but was also kind of soft. It just worked, you know? And the banter overall in the game was just so good. The interactions between Sly and his team, and even with his enemies, added so much personality, especially with Carmelita Fox. Their dynamic was always weird, because it was always like suggestive for no reason, but it was kind of funny in a way.
You foolish raccoon! I've caught you red-handed.
Ah, Carmelita. I haven't seen you since I gave you the slip in Bombay.
Which reminds me, you need to return the Firestone of India to its rightful owners.
And I was gonna give it to you as a little token of my... Hey, you know, that bazooka really brings out the color of your eyes. Very fetching.
You think? This pistol packs a paralyzing punch. You ought to try it. Might snap you out of your crime spree.
And give up our little rendezvous?
Plenty of time for that once you're safely behind bars.
Like, you could tell there was tension there, but it never took itself too seriously. And that's the thing I miss when it comes to games. I miss when games were just willing to be fun and silly. Not everything felt like it needed to be deep or overcomplicated. Sly Cooper had a clear identity, strong characters, and gameplay that didn't overwhelm you. It was a tighter experience. You could sit down, play through a chapter, and actually feel like you accomplished something. Compare that to now, where a lot of games are these massive open worlds with endless systems and mechanics. And again, that's not a bad thing, but sometimes it feels like something gets lost in that. Sly Cooper was definitely like more personality driven. Modern games tend to be more systems driven. And I think that's part of why I still go back to play older games, because they're just fun. But fun in like a different way. They don't feel like a commitment. They feel like an experience. Which also makes me wonder, why didn't Sly Cooper reach the same level of success as like Ratchet and Clank, for instance, who has gotten so many spin-offs, movies, remakes? Because I really did like both, but if I had to choose, I'd pick Sly Cooper any day. It's just something about that game that stuck with me a little bit more. Maybe it's the tone, maybe it's the characters, but whatever it was, it just worked, and it still works. So now I kind of go back and forth. On one hand, I really wish we'd get a new Sly Cooper game. I'd love to see what they could do with it today, especially if they stayed true to what made it special. But on the other hand, I don't know. Because if they change too much, it might just not be the same. So maybe I should just appreciate what we got. But I'm so curious, would you guys want a new Sly Cooper game? And how did you feel about the Sly Cooper series just overall? I really love it so much, and I'm so glad that I do have the original like PS2 games. I mean, I think I'm missing one. You could play them on PS5, like the premium version or something. But I'd love to hear what you guys think about the game in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Pause for now, play forever. AK out.